This is the Old Time Podcast Hour from the campus of Liberty University. Today we've got the Liberty Way. No relation to Hallie Way, who we had on a couple weeks ago, or Gerard Way, who's never been on this podcast. You know this guy as a meme god, but he doesn't take credit for the memes. He's just the one who puts them out there for you to see every single day. He's the vessel which fills our hearts with laughter and love. Not to be confused with LU Dank memes, who we've also got on the show, featured in their own episode, which is also out today. So catch them all, listen to both of them, and please make sure you subscribe to the Old Time Podcast Hour on Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. And we also have SoundCloud and every other kind of link you may need at podcasthour.com. Here is our conversation with Connor, aka at the Liberty Way.
I love the fact that this is our culture. It's just like thousands of photos.
Right?
It's beautiful.
And
couldn't be any better.
so Tuesday, I had steak with Pastor Nasser because he wanted to treat me to steak because of
Because you're a meme legend?
So I'll tell you the whole story. So starting last semester, the meme page took off, right? So I mean, I just started I was telling you earlier, it's following a bunch of people, and then people started following back. People started submitting memes. I'm like, all right, this is cool. And so then one of my friends on my hall, Isaiah Adkins, he's has muscular dystrophy. His dad's in the military, and so he was going to college on the GI Bill. And so somehow it just the government messed some stuff up, and they're like, actually, we don't, all that money that we said we were going to have for you, we don't have anymore. So it's too bad.
You
so
told
sad.
the story in Convo, right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
So and so a little bit before that happened, at Campus Community, he had called out LU cringe. And he had referenced some skinny jeans memes, and I knew he was talking to me, because I posted a bunch of skinny jean memes about him. And so I'm like, my hall looked at me and and I was just like, yeah, I think he's talking about me. He never referenced me specifically. He never really had a big problem with it. Later he told me, he was like, yeah, I don't really care. But anyways, after he called out LU cringe, I thought what he said was very good. I thought we should have content that's encouraging to the student body and not tearing people down. And to be honest, depending on the context, getting put on the page like LU cringe could be very embarrassing for people, because everyone's like, oh, you were on LU cringe, you were doing that, and so I can see where he's coming from. So I put on the story for the Liberty Way. We had probably 1,000 people following at this point. Let's put to work what we learned at Campus Community. Let's keep content that's encouraging to people. And so then I got positive feedback from that. And then Nasser somehow saw that. He didn't follow the account at the time. I think just because he didn't want to identify his name with something that he didn't necessarily agree with the whole time. And so he DM'd me, he's like, hey, if you really want to do that, I want you to do these 3 things. I have the DMs on my phone, but he had a list. He's like, I want you to put your name on the account so you can be held accountable. 2, I want you to delete some of the memes that are directly targeting CFAWs and our convo guests, and just try to keep things more general. A joke about a culture is less hurtful because it's about a giant cult. It's about a group of people rather than a joke about someone in particular, which they could see, and they might take it well. They might be like, oh, that's funny, I was a meme, or they might take it that's sort of embarrassing for me. So I'm all right. So I archived all the ones that weren't necessarily, that were kind of directed at people in particular, and put my name on the account. And then he saw that a week later. He's like, hey, brother, thanks for doing that. I owe you a steak. Give me your contact information sometime. And so I'm like, all right. I thought he was kind of joking with the steak thing. I'm like, that's kind of a weird. I'm like, all right. So, and then he checked back in another week later, and he's like, when are we getting that steak? I'm like, well, I want whatever works with your schedule. But so then, meanwhile, so I got this contact with Nasser. So then Isaiah told me about his financial situation, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll just I messaged Nasser about it, I didn't want to be like, I'm asking, hey, can I get money for this kid? I didn't want to be like that guy who's like asking for money. But so I just presented it as a prayer request. So I'm like, hey, it's a prayer request for my friend. And so then he's like, all right, what's his GPA? I'm like, okay. So I got him the information, and after campus community one time I went down to like the stage and met him, and I brought Isaiah with me. I'm like, hey, this is Isaiah, and they talked. And anyway, long story short, Isaiah got covered for like this semester, and next semester he's going to be here too, and all that sort of stuff. So like it was just cool to see how God worked through that whole, like a meme page. He was able to give me a contact for my friend who was struggling with not being able to go here anymore. And I saw the Lord working through him too on campus. Like he's so joyful, and he's riding around this electric wheelchair all the time, and everyone knows him, and like he's playing music through his wheelchair. He started like a prayer group on our hall and stuff. So like he's really invested in like liberty and stuff. So I knew that the Lord kind of wanted him to be here. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I got the flu last semester, the week we were going to get steak. And so we had to reschedule this semester. So past Tuesday, got to go down to his office and like hang out with him and eat steak with him.
That's so weird.
What is that like?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, what did you feel?
So, I mean, I got dressed up. I wore like a suit coat, and I wanted to look professional. So, his assistant Barbara, she's the sweetest person you'll ever meet. She's like mom and grandma all in one. Like, it's awesome. So she said, "Oh, hi Connor. You just call me at this number at 11:30 outside the Vine Center, like the back glass doors." He's like, "Just call me." And so then someone came up and opened the doors for me. I walked down, and like it's just like a labyrinth. I go through these like hallways. They showed me the hallway that the combo guests walk down before they go into
this place.
Have you been down there?
Yeah.
It's so bougie down there. I'm like, oh my word.
Yeah.
Like it's like a whole nother world. And like the hallway had like all these photos of all the combo guests, and like they brought me into like the sitting area. They have like a leather couch and like fur like rugs with a coffee table and like a drink cooler that like you could grab a drink out of. And then they led me into Nasser's office, and he's just kicking back in his office chair. He's like black baseball cap, North Face like black jacket, black skinny jeans. He's like, "What's up, brother?" And I'm like, okay. And so he's like, "Come on, let's get steak. Come on, brother." I'm like, all right. And so we go and sit down, and he's like, "So how things been, man?" I'm like, "What's up?" And like, so we just it was kind of surreal. And like, I had questions like that I wanted to talk to him about, but then in the moment, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
It was all sort of so crazy, but it was really interesting. He had this package of salt from like Europe that a combo guest had sent him from Europe, and they're like, "This salt is amazing, it makes steak so good." And he's like, "Hey Connor, I got this salt, it's the first time I've ever tried it. I wanted you and I to be the guinea pigs with it, and we'll text the combo guest, see if we like it after we eat it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I'm like, it was just so surreal. I'm like,
That's crazy.
and he's the exact same way as he is on stage when he's in person. Like he doesn't, a lot of people like when they're presenting stuff like in front of a lot of people, they might act a little different, but like exact same person in real life too.
It's probably difficult in his position to get people to be real with him. You know, he wants people to chill.
Yeah, and so I think that's definitely true, and it was still hard for me to like let down any barriers. Like it's sort of you're in like the head pastor's office, like he's sort of like a celebrity on campus, you know? So whenever you're like hanging out with him, it's like kind of like, okay, this is interesting. So but we were eating the dinner, and he's like kicking back at the table. He's got his knee up on like the table. He's like, yo, he's just sitting back. He's just chill. And I'm all nervous and stuff. So, but eventually towards the end of our time hanging out, I was starting to become a little bit more relaxed and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know. He's like, yeah, he's super personable. Like you just relax around him, and like, yeah, he's super easy to talk to too. So
that's just crazy to think that like you visit the campus pastor who is not only just wearing like a cap and then of course the skinny jeans, like, yeah, why not? And then he just brings out a bag of salt and like, hey, let's just sprinkle this on the steak.
Yeah. It's like when I bust out the smelling salt.
Yeah, he does. Do you know? Do you
Right.
have it with you?
Yeah. Say what you were gonna say, and I'll grab the salts.
So the salt was like smoked. So like they smoked the salt in some hickory wood smoker.
Okay.
So like it has this browned look to it, and you smell it. It smells amazing. But when you put on the steak, it's just salt. on the steak. It's like just makes things salty. It's so like the salt overpowers that smoky, but it's great for smelling it,
That's interesting.
This one's great for being alert.
Yeah, so this is so don't worry, it's completely legal. It's
not so much
I don't know if I want
No, I'll tell you. Let me tell you.
Is it like
it's smelling salts? It's what like basically power lifters and weightlifters do.
Anybody who's listened to us do this more than twice on this show probably thinks I'm like hooked on it.
Yeah, it's basically what it does. You smell it and it basically puts you in fight or flight scenario. So like it makes you.
Not even true.
Yeah, it does. It makes you it's. Hold on, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Is this bad to consume while consuming caffeine?
No, you're okay. Like literally, you just become like really.
Make the taste of your coffee even sharper.
No,
So
it'll just
taking
allow you to.
hallucinogenics now. Basically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All of us are taking mushrooms.
Let's
on
just
the
line
podcast.
some up.
It's more real than reality, not less real.
All right, no, basically like you can just. It's just. That's exactly. No, basically like you'll be able to like lift more.
Are we like doing cocaine?
Yeah, right now. All right, Nasser.
I don't know if this is the Liberty Way.
I'm pretty sure this is the Liberty Way.
It's all the Liberty Way right now.
Ooh, it's like smelling.
Just open your nostrils, let it flow.
How old is this? Is this from like your grandpa's like cabinet?
It's from
Here, try some of my salt.
It's actually from the football locker room. So it's,
Oh boy, it's sulfur.
Yeah, it smells
Basically.
like literally the last time I smelled anything like that was when I accidentally took a whiff in a hot tub of chlorine.
Yeah, it's
No,
like if
yeah,
you had
that's
pure
sulfur.
concentrated hot tub chlorine.
It's not good for you to breathe this in.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's not good for you to breathe in sulfur.
No, it's not at all.
I mean, it is like a commercial product.
Yeah, but not a lot.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. Not a lot of them do that. Like, it's not supposed to. There aren't like tests done on this to see whether or not it's good for your body.
Says who?
Well, I mean, it's just sulfur. It's
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah,
not.
see? It's just sulfur.
It's just sulfur. Like sulfur. Like there are sulfur like springs, like hot springs,
Yeah.
and you
I've
go
been to
swimming
one.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in one too, and you smell this. It's not like it's in great amounts. It's probably not good, but like a little bit doesn't hurt. Right?
No.
So
But you smell this like
Good for the spirit.
Yeah, but you're
it's
like
crystal though.
Yeah, and you're like every day he smells this.
Well,
Why do you? I mean, it doesn't do anything. It's just a quick little.
Yeah.
yeah, there's like a moment. Though,
It's kind of like
kinda
those
lucidity.
It's
and,
kind of like those little like shocker pens that you do it. And it's like almost like you have this weird tendency to want to do it again, and it almost feels
you're like I'm so alive.
yeah, like oh, I feel something. You just do it to feel something, like finally I'm feeling something,
Finally, I'm alive.
Finally I can.
That's crazy. Yeah, I remember when I first came to the school. When I was going to different schools, like to figure out which one I wanted to go to, one of the questions I would ask them was, "Is there anyone whose name is like well known? Like if you had to think of anyone, do any of the students know like somebody?" And they were like, "No, I don't know. Like why? That's an interesting question. Like maybe the quarterback or something." And so like my goal in coming to Liberty was to like see if I could get as many people or become friends with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So like I just think it's funny that now you have this meme page, and especially because you can put your profile on it. I'm sure is there a ton of people who like know you or say hi when you walk around?
Yeah. So when I made the account, I didn't intend to be about me. I didn't want it to be about that's the guy who runs the Liberty Way. Like not that I wanted to hide behind anything. Because I wasn't intending to post anything inappropriate anyways. And because I knew that could get me in trouble because they'll find out who you are if you do. Like, there was a Barstool account like a couple years ago that I think a lot of the guys who ran it got kicked out of the school because of it. So
They have one now though. Was it just the type of content they were posting got them in hot water?
yeah, there was bad content that got posted because there's like multiple admins. So someone got either like the admin. There was one of them that was like stupid and posted something, or like someone got a hold of the account information, logged in and did something. But not that I condone having the Barstool account, but
Yeah.
anyways, like I wasn't intending to post anything that was hurtful to anyone, but I guess some of the memes that I was posting originally before Nasser talked to me like could have been taken the wrong way, but yeah, and the reason I didn't have my name on there is because I didn't want to be about me. I want it to be about the students who are making the memes, because I don't make a lot of the memes. I make a few out of the ones that I post. A lot of them are just submitted to me. Because in all honesty, like I work better coming up with ideas for memes with other people. Like if we're like sitting in a room and like, what if you had this? Sort of like a writer's room.
Yeah, that's what I was.
But like by myself, like it sort of has to be good. I can't just like sit down and make a bunch of memes. I have to be like inspired about something that happened, but I don't know. So, yeah, like after I put my name on the account, I thought like, so that I put my name on the account and I thought, man, like everyone's going to start like saying like hi to me. This is going to be really awkward. So like the day after I put my name on the account, because it was the night after Campus Community when Nasser DM'd me and that. So I went out the next day for classes and I'm like, I was paranoid. I'm like, I felt like people were looking at me longer than they. It was just paranoia. Nothing really happened, but.
So was there like a sudden spike in the following when that happened, or at any point in particular?
In following on the account?
Yeah.
After what exactly?
Like, was there just a certain point when it kind of snowballed, when you picked up a ton of followers?
Yeah, that was after LU Cringe shouted out the page, and then everyone started following it. That was sort of. I had a steady gain. It was like maybe like 500 people followed it, and it was just stopped at like 500, in that 500 to like 550 range, and then LU Cringe shouted out the page, and then just overnight it went from 500 to like 1,000 something, and it just started snowballing. But another thing that I did to like trade secrets of becoming popular on Instagram, I would tag all the posts with the Liberty University location tag.
Right.
And I found that actually increases your chances of being put on local explore pages. So like if someone's in the area around that point of interest, it'll be put on their explore page.
Interesting.
So like it just sort of, my posts started popping up on my friends' explore pages and stuff like that. So, and they didn't even follow the account, and it just started taking off from there too. So
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and like just being really active, like posting on stories, interacting with people. The Instagram algorithm tends to like favor accounts who are like that. So
It's interesting that you say that you try to take kind of your personality out of it, even though like you were present, you didn't make it about you at all. And that's what we've been talking about doing with the podcast, is like we don't want this to be the Matt and Jordan show.
Well, I mean, but your personalities are a big part of that, because you guys started this.
Well,
and like the content you're making is like your personalities plus the person you're talking to, So like, whereas the account is like a lot of it, it's just people submitting it to me, and I post it and I tag them because it's not mine, and it's not mine to take credit for. That's why I didn't want to put my name on the account, because then people are like, "Oh, dude, you're so popular. You're the Liberty Way guy. You have the Liberty page." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I just created the name and the account information, and then everyone else was making the content for me." So that's why I feel kind of like almost self-conscious about it. I don't like it when my friends are like, "He's the Liberty Way guy." Whenever I'm hanging out with my friends and someone new comes by and is like, "He's the guy," and they're like, "Oh my gosh, dude, you're so," I'm like, it's not mine to take credit for. That's why I didn't really want to do it, but Nasser wanted me to, and I could see his reasoning behind it, so I didn't really want to make him mad.
Yeah, you're still a person of influence, though.
I was going to ask you, I was like, do you feel you have an influence? Because we've got this mini culture bubble, and you're basically the main guy. Like, everyone shows each other the memes.
Yeah, I think where I have influences in, like, stories, and, like, also whenever I see content that's being submitted to me that I'm like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be making fun of this, or, like this is something that we could, improve on as, like, a student body, and, like, to be less hurtful in this way or this way. So, like, and I'm, like, it's a whole nother conversation, but like with all the political convos that we have, I like after those convos, everyone's submitting things that are like very like just tear apart the guests who we have, or tear apart leadership because like of how they have a lot of political convos. And so, I mean, seeing that, I'm not posting any of those. And then I also wanted to make a statement on why I'm not posting, because people who submit and then notice I'm not posting their thing when I usually post what they submit, they're like, why isn't he posting this? So like after one of those times I put on the Instagram story, I'm like, hey guys, like we just need, like, we can't really do anything about this. This is just, I mean, we can talk to the leadership as much as we want and say this is what we'd like as a student body for convos. And I'm not on one side or the other. I just was saying like we can do as much as we can, but the only thing that will really make a difference is if we just like act like Christ and just like don't rip them apart. Just take what they say, disagree, agree, whatever you want to do, and just accept the fact that for now this is what we're going to have at Convo sometimes, not that we like it or not that we don't like it. It's just we just got to deal with it sometimes. And like when we create content that's hurtful or like making fun of these guests who are speaking, whether it's true or not, if they see that, or if other people see that who are from one side of the aisle or the other, left or right or whatever you have, they might be less inclined to come here and speak because they're like, oh, they're making these jokes about these people. Why would I want to come here and speak? That sort of thing. So if we can improve the culture of the student body without complaining about who we have speak, we might have more of a options to have other speakers come from other points of view.
That's
a good point.
I hope so. I know that a lot of people want more diversity in Convo. So,
and I'd say I do too. And I mean, I've said all I can say to leadership about that, but I mean, everyone said as much as they can say. It's just the way we say it, making fun of the Convo guests is not probably the best way to say that,
Yeah, and you do want to. I mean, it's like you were saying. Like we kind of want to represent the opposite of what's become, unfortunately, almost mainstream in terms of reactionary college students. Simply because someone comes with a different viewpoint, where they don't even get to the point of arguing or rationally treating the situation. They're just yelling.
Yeah, and I think our student body tends to be pretty good at that. I think, like with the Convo guests we've had, I think, we're pretty good at not verbally ad hominem attacks and screaming and reeing at them because of what they say. But I think it's almost like we disguise it with some of the posts that I get submitted on the Liberty Way. It's like, it's just another way of doing the same thing. But I don't know. I definitely think our student body has a culture of being more accepting to hear other people's points of view, at least from what I've seen. I haven't spent a whole lot of time here, so yeah.
We do have a lot of good critical thinkers for sure, and it's just a matter of what direction they choose to take.
And people think Liberty University, and a lot of times you think synonymous with Republican, which is very kind of true. So. But there's a lot of, Democratic people here, independent people here in terms of political side. So whenever you see, we have a Convo guest, Dinesh D'Souza came, and the Convo Select, when he spoke, there was Republicans there were independents there, was Democratic people there. I know because I know people who were there. And, on other campuses, I know for a fact on other campuses, you would have people standing there with signs screaming. I've seen YouTube videos of his talks at other universities, and people are just verbally attacking him or trying to shut down the program. Whereas here you have people from all sides listening and being respectful for what he's saying.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that one ended up making waves for the wrong reason because I would say he took an outdated approach to. I think he was quoting something, but
I was there for that, and I noticed that.
Can you fill me in?
Yeah, so he basically said the N-word.
Oh, he did.
It got circulated as he used it, which is there's a difference between saying it and
saying
he did not use it. But I think by this point in society, everyone ought to know, that is going to have a visceral reaction with people, and you should probably respect that.
I think some Convo guests, they tend to ride their hype wagon, they feel. They have their soapbox and they feel powerful there, so they feel like they can say what they want, and they're also trying to. I think he's type the guy who I feel would say something and be like, I don't. He's sort of I don't really care too much about your feelings as affecting what I'm going to say, that sort of free speech type thinking. And I'm so I feel like that's sort of what he was thinking when he said that.
Joe Rogan does it too. He will say the word as hey, it's my free speech. I'm allowed to do it. But I think the more valuable approach is to say, I'm going to take the stand for let's not hurt people.
Yeah, and I was actually talking to Nasser about that Tuesday when we were talking about the content that I post. And he was telling me a story about how he went and spoke at some convention, or I forgot what it was. And he used a joke that he has as part of his talk that he's used over and over and over again. It was when he was coming and became a citizen in the U.S. It was his family and then 16 other Korean families. It was his one. I forget what nationality.
Is he from Iran or something?
I think so. And 15 other Korean families. And so he said, how they have the ceremony where they get the little Constitution thing and they wave their flags and the judge says, you're now citizens of the USA. It's sort of like a ceremony thing that they do whenever you become a U.S. citizen. And they pledge allegiance to the flag. And during his thing, he says, and we all pledged allegiance to the flag. Oh. And like just because it was him and all these other Korean families. So anyways, he was this thing. He said that in his joke. He said he's used it thousands of times, or I'm being over dramatic, but a lot of times no one's ever said anything about it. And he said that's his personality. Like, I'm not hurting anyone in particular. I'm not saying anything negative, but he got one email from this person who was, his wife was very hurt by that joke. And so he said, like, he could have emailed back. It's like, what's up with her? Like, why, like, it's just a little joke, like, rub it off. It's not that bad. But he learned from that. He hasn't used that joke anymore. And he said he learned from that. It's like, for the kingdom of God, for like being a light, being like Jesus, wouldn't you rather take the road of I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that, and caring about them as a person and what they've been through, instead of lashing back? It's like, I have free speech, I can say whatever I want. Mm-hmm. Even though you do have free speech and say whatever you want, but like, would that be building up of them? Is that building up of their person? Like, what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at everything on a scale, you will see that there's somebody who can be offended by anything, and you reach a certain point where most people are going to be offended versus a very slim margin. But that means that you have the opportunity every time you say something to reflect yourself, to show how much you care about the people who might be there, and then to respond accordingly if someone does happen to express that they were hurt by it.
Yeah, and there's a line, and like,
there is a fine line.
There's a line,
it's a gradient, though, right?
But it's also a gradient. You don't know. Like, literally, I could say anything, and someone could get offended at it if they wanted to. So there's a point where it's a little bit outrageous, and it's like, really, like, you're really offended by that. But it's something you're gonna. He was telling me is like something you're gonna have to work through your whole life.
Yeah.
Basically, you're never gonna find something that works every time. For not offending people, but like.
And that's not to say you don't have. I mean, you don't have to be sorry every time someone's offended.
And if you're speaking the truth, but just finding a way to speak the truth in love. Like, I'm not going to change what I think because of your feelings, but I can express it in a way that takes into account what you've been through. Like, I can still have my stances on certain issues and talk about that, but I can talk about it in a way that is less like in your face to that person. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, I could express it in a way where I'm trying to get a reaction from you. Whereas you could express it in a way that's respectful.
Yeah. Let's talk memes.
Yes.
I know, we gotta bring it on to a lighter subject. Other than that, we were going on a roll when we were talking about memes between you. Oh, the fact that you and LU Dank memes would like minutes between each other and hours with posting the same memes.
Okay, yeah. So this is an interesting thing. I don't actually look at their page a lot. Not that I don't like to. It's just I don't really have time, and I don't actually look at my own page that much. So the thing is, like I said, I post the things I'm submitted. So sometimes people submit things to both pages. And if I'm submitted a meme then by someone, then I'll post it if I think it's funny. I'm not going to look at every other page. If they were submitted to another page and say, oh, they posted it, I'm not going to post it. Too bad. No, it was submitted to me and it was submitted to you. So it's technically both of our property now because they gave it to us. We can both post it if we want to. We have their permission. So I've never, I don't go to their page, screenshot, and then post on my page. And I don't think they do the same thing to my page either. I don't know who they are. I don't know their character. I don't know their character. I don't know, who they are as a person. So I wouldn't know. And but for me and my page, I only post what I'm submitted. So,
okay,
but, yeah.
What percentage of the content that's submitted to you do you think makes the cut?
It depends on, because a lot of times people see the same things and make the same memes about certain things. So if you have a day where someone says something during convo, I'll hear it and be like, I know I'm going to get some stuff submitted about that. And I'll hear it and be like, I know I'm going to get stuff submitted, but I know I shouldn't post it because this is going to be demeaning to the person who said it. And so sometimes I'll get on a certain day, a lot of times around convo and campus community where I get a lot of submissions because that's when a lot of the community, like the whole campus is together, and that's when a lot of stuff happens where we're all gonna be able to identify with it, And so I'll get a lot of submissions of the same joke about the same person, and I won't be able to post them. Some days I'll get the same submissions about a lot of different things that are all general, and I can post all of those. So like, it depends on what the content is and what it's relating to, but it really changes. Sometimes I'll post everything I'm submitted. Sometimes I'll post like 50%, but usually it's around 50 to like 70% of what I'm submitted I post.
I assume there's kind of a bar for quality too.
Yeah. Sometimes people will submit things that they're memeing, like they use a photo of like their friend on their hall with like a funny face. And I'm like, no one identifies with this person. I don't know who this is. That only usually works when it's like a famous person or like a photo of someone that goes viral, then you use that. But when it's just like someone random, no one knows, the caption might be funny, but I'm not gonna use the that because I don't know that person. No one else knows that person. And there's sometimes content that I'll put on the story that I won't post on the feed because it's a little less relatable. So I'll put it on the story. Not to offend anyone who I've posted things on the story, but sometimes it's just a little less relatable. Either that or the way the way it's cropped, it only fits on the story, because otherwise I'd have to like crop it down and you wouldn't be able to see it that well. So, I mean, usually, but yeah, you get the idea. So.
Yeah, and it stays on for a time, so people still see it.
Yeah, and then I archive it onto like the binge meme section of the page.
Yeah, there you go.
You can go and like just look through all the stories that we've had. It's kind of fun to look back at that too, because like you can see the sort of waves of certain things that happened on campus over the last semester in meme culture.
Yeah, I know. I love the fact that it's all there. Like it, and I think a lot of people love it because it's so relatable. It's like, let me see, like you said, like let me see what people are gonna post
say about that.
People get creative.
Yes,
I love that so much. It's like you were like, oh man, with the video ideas. I do that all the time on my phone. I have like notes and also how you said you can't force yourself to do it. It'll just like one time I was in Evan with Wheeler, and some guy, I think he literally said Lego, and because that's all he said, all of a sudden an entire idea like came into my mind, and I'm like, oh, this would be great. But like it just, you have to wait for it because that's like where it comes in.
Right. And so I'll get people submitting things about class specific stuff. Like this professor said this thing, our class would think it's funny, and so I'll post that on the story because like some people might be in that class and get it, some people won't. It's not something like a main feed sort of joke that everyone would get, but
but that's literally what a meme is by definition. It is the transferal of information non-genetically. And it was actually coined by scientists to try to represent how ideas are like biological information in that way. And that's exactly what happens.
I think memes are the most amazing thing that's happened to mankind so far. One of the most amazing things. Because it's literally a social phenomenon that it's just crazy. Because like you think about all the factors that go into making something go viral as a meme. Like there's so many things. It has to do with pop culture. It has to do with a quote from a movie that happened, like that came out this year that everyone thought was funny. It also is like a crazy thing about like group think. Like everyone saw that in the whole nation. Like memes don't necessarily start from one place. Everyone sees the same thing and they think the same thing. And they're like, that was funny. People start posting things about it, and then it becomes viral as a meme. So it's like it's not like one place on Reddit or some thread that a meme just starts from. Sometimes that's the case. But a lot of times, like a meme about a movie, like say like some of the memes that came from Infinity War, like everyone saw that same moment and thought that was funny and they posted about it, and that's how it became a meme. It's like, it's just really cool to think about that.
Yeah,
it became huge.
Which one?
Like the Thanos, fading away.
Thanos,
right.
The Thanos ones,
I'm old enough to actually remember like before memes were a thing and actually like learning it. And I remember when like I first discovered memes, like that was an actual learning process that now is automatic to everyone. Like the social IQ is higher because we know how to do this thing.
And so the like generation above us, the older ones, they don't get it at all.
It's a language they don't speak.
No.
But I'm wondering about, my dad asked me, he's like, Connor, do you think memes are going to be around whenever you're my age? I'm like, they will be. But I think it'll be a completely, because memes change every year. We have calendars showing what date was like, this meme came out here and it changed to this.
Even a month.
The dialect of memes changes.
So, you know, it's going to change. It's going to be in a completely different form. It's going to relate to their pop culture. It's going to relate to anything like my kids, you know, are going to relate to. But there will be memes. Memes will never, as long as the internet exists, memes will exist. But they will exist in different forms.
Do you ever feel so immersed in meme language that you're like, you feel like you're breaking off from reality a little bit, like you're just thinking that way?
It depends on what group of people I'm with. So I have some people I'm hanging out with that love memes, love all that stuff, and you know, we talk in memes basically to each other. Like we see something, we'll reference a meme quote, that sort of thing. And then there's some people who like just I'm friends with who just don't even care about memes, don't think they're funny, or like I've never gotten into them, which I think is stupid. But that, and they don't even, you know, I know when I can quote memes. It depends on who I'm with. So sometimes when I'm with a group of people, literally every other word we say is a meme. And if like if someone older than us was standing there like listening to our conversation, they'd be like, what the heck are they even talking about? You know, like, it's just funny to think about that.
The SGA president was just walking by looking like he wanted to podcast.
I was going to say, I was like, was that the president? Yeah. I literally, in my mind, I was like, I'm going to run out this door right now and be like, do you want to be on the podcast later?
I don't want it that bad. I want to talk to this guy.
I know, not now. I want to kick him out. You think I'm going to kick him out? This is the meme lord.
Do you want me? No.
I want... You want me? I want you. Don't you leave me. Hold my... Don't let go, Jack. Don't let go.
There it is, talking in memes.
Dude, no, for my family, it's movies.
Yes.
I've watched. I'm like, oh, have you seen Bolt? And they're like 6 years ago, and I'm like, I've seen.
I had the Bolt Wii game.
Yeah.
Loved
the game they made in case anyone buys it.
Yeah.
You played it.
Dude, I loved that game.
I know, and I would watch.
I replayed that game.
You replayed it?
Nice.
Like I played through it, and I'd go back to specific levels that I just loved and play it again.
I had like Speed Racer and stuff on the Wii.
Mario Galaxy was my first Wii game. Loved it.
What was my first Wii game?
I am illiterate in gaming language, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Are you a gamer?
I dabble.
Okay.
I like to, you know, I tend to stray from the stereotypes that are like, I don't like. So, you know, there's stereotypes. I'm not gonna offend. I don't want to offend anyone, but like there are stereotypes with people who are like hardcore game people. You know, there's stereotypes, and some of them are not as sociable, like socially acceptable as others. You know. And so I try to like, when people, are you a gamer? I'm like, well, I mean, I play video games, but I'm not a gamer. But like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know. Yes, I do play video games. I have a Nintendo Switch. Love it.
There, see, you're a gamer.
But you're a very well-rounded person.
No, I know what you mean.
Like, you know, there's stereotypes. You know, people who game a lot tend to be in their room by themselves.
Yeah, like antisocial behavior.
They play online. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I played competitively before I got here. The senior year of high school, I played Splatoon. You ever Splatoon 2? I played it competitively on a team, and we went to tournaments and like all that sort of stuff. So,
all right.
But I mean, I had that, but I also had social lives outside of that. I had like social circles. You know, I had interaction with people, and I'm not saying I don't bash it. I was completely immersed in that a lot, so I completely understand. I just think it's like, I think the stereotype is when people only play video games and never leave their room, or like, you know, all they talk about is that, or that sort of thing. I try to stay away from that, but not that it's bad. Like, that's great, you have your own culture, but like, that's just not what I like. Like, I don't bash it. I think that's perfect for them. Like, that's great.
Some of them side hustle in memes, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I know a good amount of my friends who would be like avid gamers, and memes are just like
they tend to be synonymous too.
Yeah,
like, it's interesting the different stereotypes that come along with it. Plus, interesting fact about myself: I was homeschooled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you were too?
I was. Right? Yep.
So there's another stereotype. I tend to try to steer clear of this homeschool stereotypes, but not that I'm not going to identify with identify with a lot of stuff, but like there are two different groups of homeschoolers. The homeschoolers that are completely sheltered, don't know what a computer is. You know, like they like completely sheltered, don't know anything about pop culture, and you know, they have trouble interacting socially because they're so sheltered. They only stay in their house, And I know I have had friends growing up who were like that. And then there's the homeschoolers who are like in tons of different social circles because they're not tied down to one school. Like I was not tied down to one school. So like I have friends from like all the high schools around my house, like friends from youth group, friends from like co-ops I did, friends from other things. Like I was able to meet so many different people because I wasn't having to go to only like, I mean, you don't have to only go to school events when you go to public school, but like a lot of times you're spending time with people who you know at public school, you know, like, but I don't know. That's just sort of how I grew up homeschool. Like I was able to get to know a lot of different people, but
that's what I was thinking. I was gonna say like the two groups. I think it's funny how you and me did the same thing except differently because you're a very social guy. Like you obviously were the latter. I think it's funny how I did the exact same you did, except I wasn't homeschooled. I just moved 9 times. I moved to 9 different schools.
Right.
Yeah. That was we got to the same place.
Got the same place.
But
and I mean, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be tied. You don't have to become the stereotype. You know, wherever you are, you don't have to become the stereotype. So you can forge your own path. You know.
There you go.
So that's what I think the message is in all of it. Like, if you're homeschooled, you don't have to fall into the awkward homeschool stereotype. You can be yourself. You can, you know, I don't know. I hope I don't offend anyone.
No, I think you're an advocate for homeschool.
You probably get some of the memes better because you've been homeschooled.
Yeah.
It's a big part of Liberty culture, honestly. It's a subculture, at least.
It is,
There's a lot of homeschoolers.
Yeah. And a lot of times, a lot of them you will... So there's the homeschoolers that you'll know right off the bat. You can see them across the room and be like, they were homeschooled. And then there's the homeschoolers that you wouldn't think in a million years were homeschooled. No. So like, and yeah, so I tend to try to be towards the ones who in a million years you wouldn't think that they were homeschooled.
I didn't think you were.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't have known anyway.
And I think that's another interesting thing. I love social, like, just social, like, communications and stuff like that. So like I'm like in strategic communications classes with like Dr. Hark, we talked about snap judgments and like thin slicing and like how we judge people based on how they look and how they interact even before we even meet them. And so like I don't know, I'm just fascinated by that stuff. But
yeah, I mean part of that is just the mental process, you know, and then there's also a way that infiltrates the rationality, and then that becomes an actual conscious, like, integrated opinion.
Yeah.
And I haven't taken the same class as you have, but I find that stuff fascinating.
It is. It's really cool. But and it's also really, it's even better when you learn that that's the reason, the cause for that is because of our survival as like the primal hunter days.
Yeah.
Like that's like seriously.
I
like,
look at everything through that lens.
Like we tend to, you know, go for safety. Like we tend to go for path of least resistance, like identifying with people who are like us, you know, like that's, yeah, I don't know.
It's tribe mentality.
Yeah, really, like people becoming lonely, it's because you survived in groups.
That's why I'm saying like those cultures of like the gamer culture, that sort of thing, like that's great. That's like that's their group. They identify with each other really well, and that's awesome. Like that should be, I mean, that's a good thing. So, you know, and yeah, I don't know, just interesting.
Right on.
Where'd you grow up?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
I've heard.
We got some great sports teams. Let me tell you about them. The Browns, the Cleveland Indians, and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I feel like it would be fun, though, to root for a team, at least that at one point never won.
Yeah, so the Browns, we had a perfect season a couple seasons ago. We lost every single game. We had a parade downtown sponsored by Advil for a perfect season of losing. So that was fun.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love that Advil sponsored it.
Yeah.
Heal the pain, baby.
But, you know, we had our moment in glory, championships, and with the Cavaliers, the Cubs stole the, baseball.
I don't like the Cubs.
From us. Yeah, we had the guy who hit the winning hit at Convo for the Cubs in the
was it
the
Zobrist?
World Series. Yes.
No.
Yeah, it was Zobrist. And that was between the Cubs and the Indians. That's when we almost won the World Series, and we hadn't won for so long. They hadn't won for longer, but I would have rather the Indians have won. But I'm like, all right. After hearing Zobrist's story, I'm like, all right, he's a chill guy. I'm okay with it now.
Yeah.
But I mean, in all honesty, I don't follow sports that much. I mean, just my home sports, I'll just follow them. But like any other, I don't really have a favorite team besides my home teams. So
yeah. I was just talking. I've done a couple of kind of sports-themed podcasts lately, and we were talking about how, that home affiliation, it can be a little bit arbitrary, and you can learn about your own capacity to arbitrarily hate somebody else. But having had the experience of a home team winning, like for the first time in my more or less adult life, when the Washington Capitals won a Stanley Cup. I realized that unlocked something inside.
It was awesome when the Cavaliers won.
Yeah,
and
you felt it.
My dad has a Mini Cooper convertible car,
right.
and he doesn't watch any of the games because any of the big important like championship games he doesn't watch. He records them because he's grown up in Cleveland. So I grew up in the same house that his parents built when they moved to Ohio from Texas and Oklahoma.
Wow.
And my dad was raised there, and so now I grew up there, and so he's grown up with losing all the time. So he records them. It's too stressful for him to watch them live.
My dad does that.
And so he was in the shower when we won. And I ran up to his room like, Dad, we won. He runs out of the shower and gives me this huge hug. I'm like, Dad, oh my gosh, chill out. It's like, and he's like, get your clothes on. He's like, get ready. We're going downtown right now. So we all get ready to go. And like, we just hop in the Mini Cooper. He pops the top. And it's like, I don't know, late at night, 11:30 at night. My sister, my dad, and myself, we're flying down the highway, like, tops down. Other cars are by us. We're honking horns at each other. We're, like, waving out the windows. We get downtown, like, going down the main street, and it is gridlock. People are just walking around, high-fiving each other in our cars. Like, I'm just sitting on the back, like, up on the convertible, like, yo! And everyone's,
it's the
like,
gridlock you want to be in.
It was the most surreal moment, and everyone was just so happy. It, like, unlocks this crazy sense of community that you never... Like, if you go downtown any other time... you feel kind of foreign. Like, it feels kind of foreign. You know, no one's talking to each other. You know, it's kind of like downtown, like big city sort of feel. Like people have what they're gonna do, and they're trying to accomplish what they want to get to. They don't want to talk to each other.
Yeah.
But like when it was just like it was like everyone knew each other. We were just one giant family. We all had this one common goal that we were like, yes, and we were just like, it was so cool.
I love that so much.
I felt exactly like that during the playoffs. I was watching some of these games in David's place, and we were just screaming and hugging guys that I've never spoken to before or since. We were just bonded in that moment.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Speaking of which, because sense of community, do you do any meetups?
So yes, we did a meetup when we hit 1,000 followers. I tried getting people to come. You know, I announced it like a day ahead of time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I had followed at that point.
Yeah, and I put on the story and stuff. And we had like, I think people were like intimidated by the sort of like screen effect, you know, where you don't know who they are.
Just have me come in and be like...
Yeah, like it's intimidating to walk. I was at the Rot, and like it's intimidating to walk in and be like, hey, are you that person? It's like you know, people walked up and you're like, wait, are you the guy, you're hosting this? I'm like, yeah, and it was just me and them for a little while. We just had like 2 people there, and then like a couple more people showed up. Some people there were eating dinner with their halls, and they walked over and said hi, but they weren't sitting with us. So we had like a total of 10 people at the table hanging out out of the 10,000 people that saw the story, you know?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting sort of amount of people who see it, who say they're going to come, because I had like 800 people said they wanted to come.
Oh, wow.
And then like 10 people actually have the balls to show up and like say hello. So it's like, I wanted to meet people. I wanted to have a fun meetup. I mean, it was fun. We had 10 people.
Yeah, that'd be good for anything else.
And
but
yeah,
out of 800.
Right. It reminds me of, so when I did esports, we went to tournaments, and it was the first time, because we had like talked to each other online with voice chat. It's the first time I ever was meeting any of them, ever seeing their face for the first time. We're like in the convention center where the esports tournament's happening, and like you're like messaging each other on Discord, which is like the app we use to talk to each other.
I love Discord.
And I'm wearing like this shirt with these shorts, and they walk up and they're like, are you? And we're like, are you? And then like we're like, oh, what's up? It's like such a weird, surreal experience, because you hear their voice and you're like, I know that voice, but that face is like not what I expected.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was just kind of an interesting. It reminded me of the meetup, but I wanted to do another meetup when we hit 10,000 followers, and I'm not sure how big it would be or who would want to show up, or what if we would just do a giant rot party with like a birthday cake and like balloons and stuff.
Yeah. Put up a banner.
Cool.
It's like,
I wanted to do like
a
a flash mob, or like some sort of big group thing where like everyone stands up and screams or something at like a certain time in the Rot, or like I don't know, something stupid.
Everybody's
going to
be waiting for somebody to step up first.
Right, that's the thing. So people are afraid to do it because they're like, am I the only one who's going to do this? So like,
I don't care.
Right, you know?
Right, you're
I
exceptional.
know, but that's like me.
I know,
You
like
know.
I literally yesterday it was snow day and I walked around wearing a Winnie the Pooh costume, and they're like, I'm wearing this today. Like,
No, right.
That's my thing.
But the meme is largely an introvert language.
Doesn't matter.
But then you're trying to get the people within that who are
I'll just wear
outgoing,
like a meme outfit,
or at least brave enough.
I think by this time there's
are a
enough.
meme. Go ahead, Connor.
I think by this time there's enough, like, we have enough large of a following that that everything will work out for people to come, and there'd be a good amount of people there. But
yeah, I'll show up.
I want that.
Yeah,
I want that community. I love that so much.
Yeah, I want to do another meetup. I thought I was going to do one at every 1,000 that we got followers. I thought that was my goal. But then things got so busy at one point last semester. I was just kind of like I couldn't even focus on the page as much.
I feel you. First semester I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I got the flu last semester at the end on finals week. I got the flu, so
Great.
I was out. But anyways, I was thinking about the fact that 4 years from now I'm going to graduate, and I'm the only one who logs into this page right now. I'm the only person who runs this page.
You're gonna end it. Yeah, you'd have to.
What do I do?
Get your master's.
So I was thinking about things like this. I'm thinking about the fact that the people following it right now, when they graduate, will they relate to any of the content on the page anymore? Will they unfollow it? But then there's going to be freshmen who are coming in who will have that. So I'm thinking about hosting like applications when I'm a senior for people to apply to be the freshmen to apply to be the new Liberty Way owner.
Right.
But like
they got to speak your language.
Yeah, I got to trust them. I got to know that like who they are as a person. But I just thought that's a thought that was going through my head, and it would be interesting to see like the follower count go like down and then up again or something like that because of all the people who are leaving and like, oh, Instagram people are like, oh, I don't want to follow that account. I don't care about that account anymore. They unfollow people they don't really relate to anymore. So it'll be an interesting experience.
It'll
when
evolve
that comes
one way or another.
But until then, it's a great thing to have for now. We'll see what happens.
That's big. You could definitely use that on several platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like just like for pushing events. And I'm curious about this. Have you had anyone like want to pay you to like sponsor something?
Not yet, but I'm completely willing.
Don't be a sellout.
Yeah, I know, but no, if you're like, hey, like I really want to like promote this. Like let's say somebody's like trying to go overseas and they're just like, I like really want to sell this, and like maybe they'd be like, hey, contact you about it. So just stuff like that.
Yeah. There was like people complained when I posted the GoFundMe for my friend Isaiah.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that.
People got mad at that because they're like, he's not the only one struggling financially. I'm like, okay, if you want, you can send me a GoFundMe for yourself. I'm completely willing if your cause is like, I don't mind promoting stuff. But you don't have to get mad. I mean, I'm completely willing to post something that you want to send me too. So don't get mad at me like that this person's getting help that I can, if people have the heart to give, then why not give them the opportunity to do that? So
yeah, it's actually cool to see somebody who's known for one thing kind of step outside of that and be like, hey, let's remember like the bigger picture here.
Yeah,
we have a phrase, help a brother out. Like I feel like
it's like, no, I'm struggling too, so why should it only be him?
I need my funnies.
Yeah,
did you say your funnies?
Stick to the memes. Stick to the memes.
Stick to the memes.
When I get a little preachy on the story, people are like, stick to the memes, but I don't. I'm like, all right, whatever.
That's why the guys on the dank memes, they don't. There's a few reasons why they don't want to make themselves
public.
Yeah, public. One of it is because like they
post raunchy memes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that they get some bad.
Nasser actually is like, hey Connor, are there any other meme accounts? I'm like, oh yeah, there's one. LU Dank Memes. You might want to look it up at some point. I don't know. LU Dank Memes. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, they said that like the big reason is because they don't want like. They get like some people like really trash on them, especially like some people have been coming over from your account.
I don't condone that.
Yeah,
I don't condone that. I honestly, whenever all the trash, all the sort of like I'll tear you apart, that sort of thing that I put on, like I really don't care that much.
No, they like going.
We go back and forth, and like
it.
we both like I think we both know that we don't care that much. It's just all fun, like we don't care. And so, but people are passionate about what they follow, and I'm like, I guess, I mean. Both sides of the story. It's like you kind of have to ignore those people who go on and are like, your memes suck. Yeah. Let's only follow this page. You kind of just, and I mean, I am guilty of antagonizing some people at some points in time. Specifically, this last week, someone just they had messaged one of my friends. They're like, don't follow the superior meme account. And then my friend told me that this guy messaged him, and I'm like, yo, let me see. And I took a photo of it and put it on the Liberty Way story. I'm like, I have eyes everywhere, buddy. Like, you don't know who you're dealing with. Like, sort of as like a funny joke. And then like they DM'd me after I tagged them in that story. They DM'd me and they sent like 3 paragraphs of stuff like, if you post things that are it's real easy to just to say submitted by instead of coming up with a caption for your photos. And I'm like, whoa, it was just a joke. But like, I don't know. It's like, I'm like, you really are passionate about this, aren't you? I'm like, all right, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, there's two of them. One is named R and the other is J. And one of them is like totally fine. He's like, yeah, we're chill with each other. And then he's like, but Jay is the one who's like in an avid competition with them. And he's just like, yeah, where's those captions? And
yeah, he was laying down the burn.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was like all of us are joking, and they're
I
like,
can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's really funny. Like, and also like, yeah, part of it's just the fact that like they don't want people, because then they're gonna get like it's like you said with the paranoia. Like they're worried that all of a sudden they're gonna be known, and they're gonna have like they're gonna be bothered. Like people will be bothering them. People will be this and that.
And I actually don't mind it. Like I like meeting people, and like when people come up to me and like. Or like the first time it ever happened was like several weeks ago. I was on the bus to North, and this guy sat down. He's like, "You're Connor, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're the Liberty Way guy." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." But it was cool to meet someone, and like cool that they like went out of their way to like just say hello. And I'm like, I try to be like that for other people. I don't like excluding people from things. I like to try to like I like being social with people. So like, I mean, and it's not like I'm expecting that, and I don't want it to be, like I said earlier, I don't want it to be about me, but it's like, it's kind of a cool thing that someone comes up to you and say, hey, you're that guy. I'm like, yeah. But, I always try to emphasize the fact that it's not mine. Like the students, everyone who submits, it's their page, they're the ones who are putting the content on there. I make a few every now and then, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a cool thing to have people say hello and like, oh, I recognize you. But then it gets to a point where it's like, do you care about me as a person at all besides the fact that I run the meme account? It's like my friends are like, he runs the meme account. I'm like, guys, I'm more than just a meme account to
I'm
you.
more than a meme.
I'm more than a meme. Yeah.
It's like when I had my 15 seconds of fame as Magic Matt.
What?
I was in this business class project. This guy, his marketing idea was tiny ties, like baby-sized ties. And I was tasked with the advertising side of things. So I had to do a photo shoot. I was like, the only way we're going to sell these is sexy. We're not going to sell this as formal attire. So he's like, no, it's formal. I said, I'm going to send you a sexy photo shoot. So first picture I took before I put on like the nice collared shirts was totally shirtless, like on a train track with this tie on. And for whatever reason, this guy was shooting on a crappy little camera, and the picture came out like unreal, amazing. I sent it back to him. I guess he sent it to other people. It got photoshopped into like a Magic Mike cover. And so I actually got on the bus one day and a girl was like, "You're Magic Matt."
That's hilarious.
I can't believe it got that far.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
And that person found it, and like, I mean, that's hilarious.
Maybe
so I don't actually know how many people saw it. But
maybe she was infatuated.
I mean, it was a good picture.
Did he have your mustache?
No, this is the first time I've ever just rocked a mustache like this.
Really?
The vicious but delicious, I call it. No, I was just younger looking with no tattoos.
Oh, do you have any now?
Yeah, I got a bunch.
Ooh.
Where? Do you have any that you can show?
We'll do it like a scanner.
Do you have a sleeve?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot.
Say, you're gonna have to show me that sometime.
Sure. Yeah, when we're not like in the biggest display window.
Well, you know.
I'll pull a bow
I have
show
Jerry
and take off
tattooed
my
on my
shirt.
back.
Do you?
Yeah.
No,
I kind of believe this. Do you have a small Jerry tattoo?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
Yeah. See?
No!
Oh my gosh!
Was it a dare or were you drunk? I guess you
I
can't
was,
say, huh?
Yeah, I was drunk. I was at a party. No.
It was those salts.
It was, what are the odds? Because I had, like, started the page, and I'm like, what are the odds you get a tattoo of Jerry on your back? I'm like, 10. So we both said it, and sure enough, I had to go do it. And they paid for it as part of the dare, yeah.
Wow. I don't even know. That's the best thing ever. I can't. What's your... All right, that's just. It just.
All right, what are you gonna show us?
Everything's perfect. Sorry, I love this. Dank memes. So they just posted a story, like 47 minutes ago. Says, so lately we've been getting called out a lot because we don't have our faces on this page. The reason for this is because we aren't doing this for the fame or the attention. Our sole purpose is to bring happiness into people's daily lives and build a great community. That's why we comment on your stories and posts. We genuinely love you guys, and to be honest, even know some of you in real life, but the point of the page isn't so you guys think we're cool or popular. It's to literally just make people happy. All people that voted leave us alone will be unfollowed since we do not want to accidentally intrude. But yes, anyway, that's basically what you thought.
Yeah, and I would say the same thing. Like, I don't want this to be about me.
Yeah. Neither do they.
And like, I know a lot of people say that who like run things that are big and stuff, and like everyone knows them, and they're like, I don't want it to be about me. But I genuinely did not want it to be about me.
Are you though? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, no, yeah, I really, I don't.
I truly believe you when you say that.
And so,
yeah, I do too.
It was kind of like bitter. Like, I was kind of like, oh man, I don't want to do this when Nasser said put my name on the page. Mm-hmm. But I understand his reasoning too. So like, I'm like trying to have to please both parties at one time. Like, I don't want it to be about me. Yeah. So I'd say I agree with that, what they said.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's a way to go about it. I'm trying to navigate it now. Like, there's a way to go about having your name out there, people knowing who you are, and still not giving credit to yourself. In all honesty, like, all the credit goes to God, like, for this whole thing. Like, I've seen the Lord work through this page multiple times, like with my friend Isaiah, and like, I'm sure he'll use it at some point too. And like, when the page started taking off, it was actually, I was sitting on my hall and I was just looking at like taking off. I'm like, why would the Lord allow me to have this giant meme page? Like, there's got to be something, like, memes in and of themselves, like, there's no lasting point to them if you think about it. Like, they're funny for a little bit and then they pass away immediately. Mm-hmm. They literally change every day almost. So I was like sitting there like, man, what can I use this for? You know, like, how can I use this platform that I have now? And so then immediately afterward, my friend Isaiah, that whole thing happened, which was like basically a miracle for him. Like, yeah, he literally was going to have to leave the school in a few weeks because, like, last semester, because of the fact that he couldn't pay, because the GI Bill fell through. But
I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, like, there's a way, like, when people say, hey, you're the meme guy, and like, I try to, you know, there's times when it feels fun to be like, oh yeah, I'm that guy, like, kind of big for my britches type of thing. But there's also times when I want to, like, I have to keep reminding myself, I'm like, hey, this is not mine, this is the Lord's, like, whatever he wants to do with it.
What made you want to do it in the first place?
Originally, so I got to Liberty, and I was like asking around to the people who had been here for a couple years longer. I'm like, are there any Liberty meme pages? I figured by this time a school this big would have a meme page that was popular. And so they had there was the Facebook one. And
Facebook.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I have a Facebook, but I never use it. And a lot of my friends never use Facebook. So
I can't believe how quickly that's happened.
So like, no one uses Facebook. So like, yeah, so I said, all right, there's a Facebook one, but no one uses Facebook anymore. The last post was like, I don't know how many months ago, and it was kind of dead at that time. And so I'm like, all right, meet the need, make an Instagram one, because the ones on Instagram had like maybe 100 followers or less, and their content wasn't really that good. And I have to admit, and I did admit this a little bit ago when I was talking to LU Dink Memes. I don't know if they are the ones who had started the Facebook page, but I did at the very beginning of the page that I started, the Liberty Way. I had taken screenshots of some of the Facebook memes because I literally just got to Liberty. I had no idea about the inside jokes. So I took some of the memes that were on the Facebook meme page and posted them on the Liberty Way. And then I created some of my own with the help of my friends. And so I think some of the heat that had started at the beginning between the two meme pages were like, they were like, you stole memes from that page. And I have to admit, I did at the very beginning. So not that I'm proud of it, but I had to have content there, and I did take them down now. I mean, I guess there's a checkered past for everyone. That's my checkered past.
The scandal.
I love
yes.
that statement.
The first like 5 memes of the page were stolen from the Facebook page that no one looked at. So
apparently they did after.
Oh yeah, apparently the owners of that they're like, why are you using our memes? I'm like, I'm sorry. So I took them down. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's sort of like that Trump mindset. You gotta have, like, you're sort of like
takes.
Yeah, like I was sort of ruthless at the beginning. I'm like, a good artist,
a real winner.
Yeah, a good artist steals, like that sort of thing. I don't know. So
There is no such thing as originality.
yeah, I mean, when you think about it, memes none of them are really original.
The whole idea is
whole
you're
idea is
working with the
stuff that's already
existing-
there. So
Yeah.
I just did it at a greater extent.
Yeah, right.
There's a little.
No,
Little
yeah.
thought there.
So everyone hate me, get it all out of the way. But yeah, I did use some memes from another page at the beginning, but
We don't care.
I don't care, man.
I face
We
my
formally forgive you.
Yeah, I
I
know.
face my
Public
faults.
forum.
Is that how I sound? No, it's because I yawned.
No, that was me.
Everyone
Okay.
makes mistakes, man.
We do. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
I had to run away from the cops when I was in 3rd grade.
We're not doing true stories right now. We can record that later.
Did I forget to tell you that?
No, you did tell me that one.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got like a
Just
bit.
didn't make
We have
the cut.
true stories. And
Oh,
so
yeah?
yeah, because
His last
my
name is True.
Yeah. So
Perfect.
yeah.
I love it.
So here's the closer. Do you have a favorite meme from all the time you've been running the Liberty Way?
There's a few memes or a group of memes that I find the most memorable. I don't necessarily have a favorite. I think they're all pretty funny, but like
Okay.
there's certain eras that I find the funniest. So one was when Nasser was talking about the sword and Mac shortcuts.
That's so good.
I loved that
I
video.
love that one.
It was hilarious. The other one was when we had the campus war, meme war. So campus housing meme war.
Yes.
So we had people from East roasting, like people from like the Circle, and like the Shoe was roasting Commons 1, and then like South Tower was just chilling there, like what's going on, and then like all of a sudden they got pulled in. And there was like a full week of just roasting each other, which was great. All in good fun. And then probably my third favorite was the half-built Christmas tree memes.
Yeah.
Like the guy she tells you not to worry about ones with like the tower in the background, and then that was probably I really like that one. But
I
yeah,
love those.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. Those are my most favorite ones out of the ones that are there. But
Those are all pretty good.
there are others that I really love, and I have an archive of memes that I can't post on the Liberty Way,
Oh.
but are hilarious.
Really?
the-
Honorable mention.
You got to get the all access pass.
You do. There are things I can't.
director's cut.
There are things I don't. Actually, no. What? I don't have an archive.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. What?
We don't accept these things.
No, we don't post them. I delete
There's
them
legend
immediately.
of an archive.
There's legends of an archive.
Yeah, rumors like all the legends of him are true, but like
Whatever you're talking about.
There's
Think it's some,
legends.
National Treasure, Book
People
of
have-
Secrets, Knights
Yes.
Templar.
People have said that there's
King Arthur.
a.
Shut up, Jordan.
People have said that there's legends of an archive of memes, Liberty memes, about all sorts of stuff that's stored lock and key away in a deep dark place
Far better than any memes that have seen the light of day.
A dungeon.
that only the chosen can access.
What? How do you? I love it. This has been an amazing podcast.
I know. I'm so happy with all this. Dude, I gotta find that dungeon.
The dungeon. Find the dungeon.
It's like
Some say it's
think
stored
the
on an
dungeon-
iPod Touch.
I was gonna say. I think the dungeon might be sitting right in front of us.
yeah.
Dum,
Okay.
dum.
All of a sudden, just take the hat.
This has been sick. I think that was our out. I think we're done.
I think we're good.
Releasing merch for the Liberty Way.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Do you want to plug
He's
that?
making
I
bank.
would actually. The merch will be dropping at 10K. So get us to 10K and then you can get some merch. So that's the plan. There will be a merch release video. There's going to be a video dropping when the merch comes out. And there's some Liberty personalities who are going to be in that. The merch will be a limited time only sort of thing. So we're only releasing a certain number of shirts at a time. Also,
I
the
love limited
proceeds,
releases.
a portion of the proceeds, because we have to pay for the shirts, but a portion of the proceeds, the plan is to go to a charity. So
Amen.
it's not just going to some random dude around
So you can justify frivolous spending because it's not. It's a donation.
to a charity. Yes,
Thank you, Connor.
of course.
It's been brilliant.